Hi, everybody. Spell breaking module. Welcome to lesson 4. Welcome back. So, some interesting thoughts and investigation about why we're eating. So, Janine Roth says if you force and deprive and shame yourself into being thin, you end up a deprived, shamed, fearful person who will also be thin for 10 minutes. And I myself actually held that thinness in deprivation, shame, and fear for several years. But it was out of force and fear, and it was misery. So willpower was strong, but it was not good. It did not feel happy. So another aspect of how eating troubles get generated, and one of my favorite reviews and ways to see this is sin, guilt, punishment cycle. Profoundly helpful when I could see this more clearly. And then we're going to question our beliefs about not needing to worry about food. So, why do we eat? I just think this is really interesting to take a look at why do humans eat ever? There's the physical aspects of eating: hunger, hormones, genetics, metabolism, insulin, serotonin, excessive restriction. Why we eat or refrain from eating, important to mention. Prescriptions, medications, poor sleep, fatigue, urge. Environmental reasons to eat or refrain from eating is that food is present and I'm offered food. There's the social and religious beliefs that many of us have had. Messages about bodies, overvaluation of a body, manipulation through advertising and images of food and thin bodies. We all know what that's like. We see it, we've experienced it, it's out there. Family systems, family beliefs about food and eating and bodies, why we eat, why we refrain from eating. And then mental and emotional reasons. We're avoiding nurturing. We're believing some foods are forbidden and wrong. We have unexpressed anger. We need a reward or acknowledgement. We have demands that are regular and relentless feeling from work and family and others. These are all wonderful explorations of, if I'm answering the question, why am I eating, or why am I refraining from eating when it's okay to be eating and I need to nourish my body? Either side. Fascinating to watch the process of the mind in answering this question, in studying, in watching with awareness the flow of what happens for us. So, when we're eating or restricting, either side, for mind-based reasons, it's like, how do we look at that? People have asked the questions, how do I know the difference between my mind and my body? So the flow, and this is almost instantaneous, moves from something happens, a movement occurs, an image appears, I experience a sensation and a feeling, and I make meaning to that very quickly. It reminds me of something and produces more feeling. I'm usually orienting it to the past somehow. And then I have a thought about that feeling and what I should do about the feeling. And I believe and think that the feeling that I'm feeling is possibly bad or wrong. And I have entered unhappiness. And then when I feel unhappiness, I eat to soothe or distract myself or diminish my feeling or comfort the unhappiness. So Scott Killaby, who's done so much work, especially with himself on eating and self-inquiry and working with others, said, an addict is like an escape artist, always looking for something else, something more, and a there that never arrives. Fascinating to watch. I'm in this moment. I don't like the feeling. I don't like my thoughts. I don't like the situation. Quick, let's escape. There's something else, something more, something to eat. And that there never actually arrives. It's very disappointing. So the sin, guilt, punishment cycle is absolutely like a merry-go-round trap. This is what it looks like. I'm not hungry, or sometimes for some of us, I actually am hungry. And I have the thought about eating. I eat foods that don't feel good, or I judge them as bad for me, and I call it a crime. Terrible. Committing a sin. I'm guilty. I feel ashamed. I'm so frustrated. I'm afraid. I'm embarrassed. I want to hide this. Sneakiness is a great way to see I believe I'm doing something that's bad. I feel guilty. So if I feel guilty, the natural antidote to guilt is punishment. I deserve it. I need to pay. If I can just pay enough, I'll get back to neutral. I won't be a criminal anymore. I'll pay back. I'll overexercise. I'll undereat later. I'll make up for my terrible crime that I've done. I'll take care of other people. I'll do whatever the right thing, quote unquote, to do is. I begin to suffer and I seek rest. I feel hungry. I feel the harshness. I feel emotionally hungry. I feel upset and enraged. I want comfort. I want nourishment. I want nurturing. So what do? I eat. And I start the cycle over again. So why does eating seem to help? It's great to just slow this down slowly and take a look, especially when I am not hungry and I'm eating adequately. What do I want to do or say or think or feel? What will this food, do I believe, do for me? What will I have if I eat it? And not just all the bad stuff, but the good stuff. Notice, watching the sensations, feelings in the body. I can describe my emotions. I can speak this out loud, the flow of what happens. I can look back and remember when I was eating off balance and answer these questions. And this amazing question with food and eating, why do I need to worry about this whole thing in the first place? What am I afraid would happen if I weren't unhappy about this? It would be like amazing to think about not being unhappy about food or eating. I was so unhappy about it. If I wasn't unhappy about the way I was eating or looking for how to get better at it, I'd be like, what? I can just accept it as it is? That's impossible. This is the kinds of things that we'll say are true, that will happen if I don't worry about eating or foods or my weight. If I didn't worry about food and eating, I'd eat nonstop all day and I'd gain a ton of weight. I'd blow up into the size of a blimp. I'd be a whale. I'd do nothing but eat. Amazing to hear your mind say that to you, because you can question it. Am I absolutely sure that's true? That if I didn't worry is a stressful experience. If I let go of my stress, this is what life would be like with food and eating. If I didn't worry about eating, I'd pick junk foods and forbidden foods and eat them all day long, and I'd have no life. I already did that when I was in food and eating, and I was very worried. Could it be the opposite is true? If I didn't worry about my health or my weight, I'd walk out in public and I'd be ridiculed. I'd no longer be careful. I'd be vulnerable. I'd have to face other things that I might feel horrible about. I'd just be there with raw emotions. I'd notice other conditions I dislike about my life, maybe. Is that true? Is that terrible if that happened? Could that be something more interesting? Maybe it's not as bad as I think. So just noticing the thought, I have to worry about this whole food and eating thing that's been going on for many, many years. I have to worry about it. I need to be vigilant. So questioning the thought, is it true? Can you absolutely know that it's true? You have to worry about food and eating and your body. How do you react and what happens when you believe the thought, I have to worry about this? Does it bring peace or stress into your life to say, I have to worry about this? What images do you see? What are you telling yourself? What story are you telling? Past, future, that say, I have to worry about it. Oh, yeah, I do. What emotions rise? And of course, obsessions. Talk about obsessions. I eat when I think I have to worry about it. And then I want to drop the thought so badly and I just eat. How do I treat other people and myself? And how do I treat food when I believe I have to worry about it? So who would I be What would I be without the thought I have to worry about food and eating and my body? What an amazing question. If I was an angel, an alien from another planet, and I just landed here, never even had this whole eating thing, you're a human being. Oh, guess what they do here? They eat. Go. If I was just traveling and I was gone for many, many, many years and I just came back to this moment and I had never been eating, worrying about food or eating or my body, what would that be like? If I was a plant or a tree, do trees worry about food and eating? Whether there's drought or lots of rain or all those nutrients in the ground, they just take what they want, take what they need. What would it be like if this thought occurred to me? I love this, holding this in our question 4. This thought occurs to me, oh, I need to worry about food and eating. But what would it be like if I didn't believe it was true? So it's okay that it's there instead of fighting against having the thought. I love imagination is in the mind. Imagination. It's a nation of images in my mind, but it's all in the mind. And I can entertain myself and be that stuff that I'm worried about. I can not be worried about it. I can see what it's like to be joyful. I love that Byron Katie says this: there is only one problem ever, your uninvestigated story in the moment. This is true about food and eating and weight and the body and whether you did it right or wrong. There's only one problem ever, your uninvestigated story in the moment. Very good news.